Didi.
Hey everybody, Armal here from Chi Skills, and today we have a very interesting podcast. We're talking about the menstruation cycle.
Wow. That's a great introduction by you.
Thank you.
And
I don't have a menstruation cycle, but wow.
You find it so interesting. No, but it is... a lot of my clients, the female clients that come to me that still have a menstruation cycle, they don't think it's a gift.
No.
And it is truly a gift. Menstruation cycle is life.
Whoa, we're diving deep immediately, people. It's wow. Yeah, but that's an interesting one to start with, right?
Yeah.
It's like why is it not considered a gift? Because there's so many issues around this menstruation cycle, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. And I think when you grow up, or for some women it's different as for me, but for a lot of people, menstruation is kind of a bother every month, and also, it all relates to getting pregnant, and how can you stop getting pregnant if you don't want it? So there are all these issues and PMS and all that. So many women nowadays have issues with their menstruation.
And then you come in and you say it's
your
gift.
You should be so happy. And it truly is. It truly is. And I needed some time to figure that out as well. It truly is, because it's your superpower. It's what binds you to nature. It's what reminds you every day, not just while you're menstruating, but every day. It connects you to the energy of the moon.
Oh, wow. It's like poetry, Didi. So it's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
Everything is a cycle.
Yeah.
In life, nothing stands still.
No.
There's yin and yang. There's rising. There's falling away. There is 5 elements. There's nature never standing still, dark, light. There's all these changes constantly.
Absolutely.
And so you're saying here is that the menstruation cycle is like a miniature version of what's happening outside.
Yeah. And that's great, because it's a constant reminder. It's a constant reminder of that you're part of this bigger thing, the universe. and
So can you say that a lot of the problems around menstruation are about not being aligned with the outside?
Yeah.
I call it outside now, right? Which is a little bit strange because we're living in it. But I want to make a difference between the inside now and the outside cycle. But there's this non-alignment which causes problems, right?
Yeah. And that's because we go against the energy. We go against, and we live in a very patriarchic world. So we're more focused on the sun. We're more focused on the light. We want to have success all the time. We don't want downtime as much.
Wow,
so going through your cycle, you see that you go through, and this is every month for every female.
Yeah.
You go through the light. You go through. Let's start. Just go through the cycle.
Let's step on the brake.
Let's go through the cycle, because it's you. When you start menstruating, your day 1 of menstruating, that's water element. It's the darkest. It's the new moon. This is how it's supposed. This is how it's
okay.
supposed.
You're describing a relation now with the menstruation cycle and the 5 element cycle.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So the first day of your menstruation cycle is when let's say it's the new moon. It's the darkest day.
Yeah.
It's in introspective. So you go inward. It's the time for
Yin.
yin, the bigger yin.
Yeah.
And it's a time, well, we talked about winter time here. We talked about the energy. It's an inward energy. It's not the time for new projects. It's not the time for most creativity. No, it's a time to step back a little bit and to go inward and to rest.
Wow. Who does that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, someone who's
We do, but
someone who's aligned.
Yeah.
But our lives here don't really give time for that. But then you come into wood element. That's the time before ovulation.
Yeah.
So it's the time going through the full moon, going towards the full moon. And this is more a time when you feel more energetic. This is the time when you want to build new things. It's to
take action.
Execute, to take action. That's that part of the month. And then with the full moon, that's ovulation time. And this is when you're perfectly aligned. No, I don't know many women who are perfectly aligned all the time, which is good. I'm not always aligned. Sometimes I am perfectly.
And which element is that?
So
if we take the elements one step back, was the wood element, right?
This is the fire element.
And that's the fire
element. That's
element,
the fire
right?
element. That's
so because we started with the
ovulating.
water element, right?
Yeah.
Then we moved into the wood element.
And this is the fire
And that's the fire element. Okay. So now we're like...
This is a cycle of change, the cycle of nature.
Okay.
So then your ovulation time, that's the fire element. And this is when you're completely in bloom, you're out there.
It's summer, right? It's just
that's it. And good thing, you're attracting good things towards you.
So you can really make use of that? I don't,
no,
that sounds corny.
But it's a superpower. So yes.
Yeah.
This is the time for you to go out, to do your stuff, be your excellent self. In that fire element. It's a very outward energy. And then you go into first the earth element. So it's that phase for women who this is also where you can get pregnant.
Okay.
Where you can get pregnant, and then you go into another phase, but normally if you don't get pregnant, those days just after ovulation, you're still in that kind of energy, first element.
Yeah,
it's the after summer element.
So if you compare to those seasons, it would be like late summer, moving towards fall,
exactly.
autumn, right? Yeah.
So you're still in this high. You're still in this kind of good feeling, and then you're coming towards that just a week before you're menstruating, and this is the time when a lot of women struggle. This is where the trouble comes. This is the metal element, and the metal element is more turned inwards. It's the little yin, so
contracting starting to
energy,
contract,
and this is when you hear a lot of people, a lot of women, they start to have problems with their emotions, their PMS, and they're all over the place. They want to eat the chocolate, and it's But what does your body? What does your system? What does your energy wants to tell you?
Well, first you have to listen, right? First you have to listen, because I mean, this is mind blowing for me. I'm a man, of course, so it's like, but so you're describing here this elemental season. You have this moon cycle, and you have this. It's. But the thing is like, are you aware of this change? Are you? I mean, of course you are aware of problems or things, but a lot of people are they try to control this change, maybe for their own feeling better or something, right?
Yeah.
So, but that causes problems as well. Yeah, maybe I'm going a bit fake here, but I hope you know what I mean.
It's all, do you go with the flow? Do you go with the energy that comes with it?
It's
And
alignment, right? Yeah.
alignment. So if you're in this metal element, that's more a contracting energy, but it's also the phase. If you look at the 5 elements, it's the phase to let go. What is not necessary anymore?
Yeah.
And also, if you look at the moon phases, a new moon, that's the time to go into your new cycle, into new beginnings. But then you need to really have a good look at what you don't need anymore in this time of metal. Do you understand?
I do,
Yeah.
I do, I do,
Okay.
I do. But I'm still a little bit on the topic of like, okay, but it's hard for people to adjust and align to this side, to this side, because there's so many problems. But we'll move into that, of course. But now you're talking about what it can be.
This is
Just about the superpower, right? It's like because if you can live that way and you can see these moments in the cycle, you can see like, oh, this is the time to take action. This is the time to step back. But we're so busy with always taking action that, well, and then sometimes the taking step back just happens automatically because you have to, because you're so. But now you're saying if you align to this, you can plan your whole life around it.
Yeah. If you're, and wow. Of course, that's not how life works, because there's always things that come in between. Because sometimes you need to do stuff while you're just before the new moon, and you think, oh, but this is my time off, and then your mother calls that, can you help because I have a problem or something, and she it really takes you out of that moment for yourself. But it's always, or your job requires you to do a big presentation just while you're getting into your menstruation.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem. It's just be aware of it. It will be different. It will come from another source. When you're doing your big presentation, it will be easier when you're in just before your ovulation. But you're still you will do great either whenever you do it. It's coming from another place, and just being aware of that.
Yeah, but out of this alignment, I can imagine there comes a lot of energy, right? I mean, if you start living like let's say 80% of all things will be aligned to that, and so the 20% is like, okay, well, you're still living in the world, right? And things happen, but being aware of that is going to help you just to get through that easily, more easy than you used to. So, but what stands in the way of people being aligned with the superpower at this time? Because there's a lot of problems. What is that? Is that not being? Are women not aware of the cycle, or in that way? Right? Of course, they are aware of their.
They're not. They are. I think I can talk about me. I took birth control pill for a long time.
That's it. Yeah, of course.
And that will numb everything.
Yeah.
So that will not get you into your superpowers, because only to be aware and to know about the cycle and to work with it, that will help you tremendously. And birth control, especially hormonal birth control, that will cut you off. So
it becomes like a more artificial cycle that you're creating in that way, or is it?
It will just.
It will make everything. Yeah,
numb.
It's like you take off the peaks and you take off the extremes or something.
Yeah.
But isn't that one of the reasons that why women would take that pill, because they have so many menstrual problems? So
and you're suppressing.
So so what lies even before that then? Is that like a non-acceptance of what's happening?
I think we live in this society where, well, I started with that we actually want to be in spring and summer all the time. We don't want to be in the other
Wow.
elements.
That's
We want
beautiful.
to
Yeah.
we want to have success.
Yeah.
We want to be able to be great and to attract a lot of energy towards you.
Yeah.
So we want to be young all the time. We learn from all the media that we need to
Yeah.
be at our best at all times.
Yeah.
And we don't need to. We don't need to be at our best at all times.
Yeah.
But how to define best? And sometimes it's good to take a rest.
Well, a lot of people, for most people who are always on, it doesn't mean success.
No.
So success would be aligning to your cycle and accepting this, taking this step back, and then what you were explaining with the elements, you have so much more efficiency and thing with the things that you're doing if you take this moment of rest and then go again and align with that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
How cut off we are.
And how you can, for me, what was what had a very big impact, of course, stopping with birth control, but also to meditate with the moon. So to be more aware of the moon phases, and I know a lot of women who do rituals around the new moon, about the full moon, but only just to be aware, where are we in the cycle, and to connect with the moon gives you more connection to yourself.
But not everyone is aligned with the moon. Let's say they have alignment, but not everyone is in the same place with ovulation or so. But is there an ideal linkage with the cycle of the moon? Yeah, this is menstruation cycle for dummies. Sorry,
No,
I'm just wondering.
No, it's quite. This is advanced level because no, it's. If you are aware of the moon and where you are at your cycle, it's more that it can tell you a lot about how you are at that moment, but it's a feeling. So perfectly, if how it's described in all the books, it's that you're ovulating at full moon and
just like you
menstruating.
were telling earlier. Yeah. New moon, yeah.
But for me, and I know for a lot of women, sometimes it's turned around. And then it's what does your body wants to tell you? It's all about listening. And of course, some people, I know there are a lot of books and websites on how to explain this but I think the most important for yourself is to go within yourself and what's going on. What does your body wants to tell you, and where can you adjust? Do you need more space for yourself? Is it time to step out? Where are you? Because you have a monthly cycle, but of course you have longer cycles as well.
Sure.
Where are you in your life? In what part of your life? Is it more a time of diving deeper into yourself for self-care, for self-help, for
educate, like learning new things, skills, or
is it a time to go out and to share your knowledge with the world? Do you have smaller children? Is it a time for nurturing? Is it a time for where are you in your life? And your cycle, if you're aware of it, will tell you so much about where am I? Am I doing well? Am I not doing well? Where can I adjust? And etc.
There's this, while I'm listening to you, there's this amazing opportunity for spiritual growth and insight, just trying to align with nature, yourself, in this menstruation cycle. Because Well, it will get you absolutely in your superpower if you get more skills about around
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
learn to when to step back or take action and realize that. I mean, and now I start to understand why you call it a gift.
It is a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for one, so I track my cycle, temperature. So I know where I am in my cycle, because your temperature will differ from when you're ovulating. Your temperature will be a little bit higher, and so on.
Yeah.
And this gave me an opportunity to really know myself better, to understand myself better, to know where am I in my cycle, and how do I feel according to where I am in the cycle, and where do I need to take a break,
Yeah.
or where do I put my foot on the gas? Is that how you say it? Yeah.
I think they understand you, is right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you go? Yeah.
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 And so it's all about understanding yourself, understanding, feeling, and connecting, and this, your cycle, just gives you a reminder. Every month you get an opportunity to connect with yourself.
So this is one of the major things that are in between, like seeing it as a gift or seeing it as a,
Yeah, because if you never look at your cycle, if you just find it something, oh, there it is again this month, it will be a burden. And if you suppress it, if you take birth control or maybe other
hormones
to suppress it, it will not help you in the end, because you're suppressing something that's underneath. There is something there that wants to come out. And what is that?
It draws your attention, and it says, give attention to me.
Yeah.
And then, there's also a matter of acceptance here, right? Is that you have to sort of accept that you have lower times and you have
higher times.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the correct words for it, but people will understand, I guess. So, and are there other things, because we're talking about hormones, we're talking about always being in spring or summer. Are there also like food things related to this that can absolutely help this process, and the herbs?
Yeah. So there's and there are so many herbs that can help. That's the gift of nature again, because the menstruation cycle, of course, is very much related to blood.
Yeah.
And to create great blood, we need to eat good food.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
And we have so many herbs around us that help for the menstruation cycle, and there can be so many problems with a lot of women. It just doesn't want to come. The bloodstream is blocked. Well, there's stagnation.
Yeah, that's the correct word. Yeah.
But then for some people, it's just coming and coming. For others, there is little blood. So there's all these different things. And for to help you with what's going on with you, you need to first look at yourself.
Yeah.
If that's difficult, then look for someone to help you with it.
Yeah, sure.
But look for, and that's probably with all the things that we teach, look for the problem that's underneath. Don't just look at what's visible and on the physical part, but look underneath. And
something wants to tell you something, right? And that's where your growth is. And that's yeah.
And so everything that you think goes wrong in your menstruation cycle, what's lying underneath?
Yeah, you have to be willing to listen to that and take action on that or non-action on that, or it depends on where you are in the cycle, right?
Most of the time, it's the non-action.
Yeah.
We want to embrace our feminine gifts, and the yin energy is all about not doing. It's
about being.
It's about being, but also attracting.
Yeah.
It's about attracting. Female energy is more about attracting, while male energy is more about expanding.
Yeah, very true. Very true. But yeah, I mean, all this conditioning is in between, right? So that's the first thing. And then I think sometimes you have to have had enough menstruation problems to take this step. It's with everything, right? If you want to make change, it has to be at a certain point that you're open and willing to see yourself, right? It's all about acknowledging yourself and this treating it as a gift.
Yeah.
Oh, and mind-blowing stuff. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot that we talk about at the moment. But for me, the key point is you're part of a bigger system. You're part of the universe, and you're part of nature. And your body is just going with the energy that is around you. And if you acknowledge this, and if you lean into that and work with the energy, that goes so much better than going against it and
just go like yang. Yeah.
And this point, it is also that the male energy is more yang, but where there is a difference, and to acknowledge that there is a difference in energy. From a male perspective, males are more day. There is more a day cycle, and not so much a. Of course, we all live in the same world, but they are not as aligned to the moon as women are.
Of course, I mean, we are affected with it, but I didn't used to be really aware of that, right? Yeah. But now I'm very aware of it. It's like, okay, wow, there was full moon, and I was like a hard time sleeping or things like that, right? The funny thing is, you're in your menstruational cycle, and I sort of, my energy tends to go with your energy because we're always together. So there's also this alignment, and you talked also to me about that. If like a group of women work closely together or something, that also their cycles can start to adjust with each other. That's very interesting. Yeah.
So we're all, so bottom line is, do you go with the energy or do you go against it? And well, everybody knows if you go against it, it will take a lot more energy.
Yeah, it's stagnation for sure.
And going into this, because we're now really scratching the surface, because there's so much more to say about this subject.
And we will say a lot more about this subject. And I'm really happy to learn about this subject more. I mean, of course, I live with you. You talk about these things, but it's just sort of lands more now. And I hope for the listeners also that it's like, consider it your superpower. Yeah. Start aligning with nature, your own nature in nature, and accept change and accept yin time.
Yin time. And accept that when you're in this yin time, that when you do the things, you come from another place. And that's great. That's fine. That's who you are. You are a change. The only thing that is always there, that is a constant, is the change.
You can be sure of that. It's guaranteed. Yeah.
So I think that's a good way to finish this conversation. And we'll continue it in another time.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. And women's Qigong. I mean, this is Qigong. Qigong, it's all about energy and alignment and getting yourself in your superpower.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So, hope you like this.
Yep.
Like and subscribe. And
we'll be back for more for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bye.